Alright, this is John Cola with okraw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And yes, I got a haircut because I know a lot of you guys are like, John, your hair is too long. But anyways, got a haircut. I like it a lot, actually. Hope you guys like it too. Anyways, this video, what I'm going to do is actually going to do a Q&A for you guys on my OK Raw channel here. Take your guys' questions. You know, I apologize in advance. I get so many different people email me all kinds of questions all the time. And there's one of me, and there's a lot of you guys. I mean, there's like over, I don't know, 55,000 subscribers on this channel. And my other channels like have over 200,000 subscribers on my Growing Your Greens channel. And I got all kinds of fans out there. So I want to thank you guys for being my fans. But I apologize, I can't answer all the different emails, Facebook messages, and all this stuff that comes in. So what I will do is if you do post a message on my discussion tab, so if you go to okraw.com and click discussion and you put a message there, it may end up in a Q&A like this one. Or if you go to the about on the OK Raw and click on contact and send me a private message, I'll also pull messages from there to put in the Q&A as well. Now, before I get into this Q&A today, I want to make an announcement for you guys. I mean, as you guys know, most of my education is done online. I have probably getting close to 1,900 videos online, all available for free, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for you guys to watch, to educate your brain, you know, to learn more about health and what I've learned basically in my life, because that's what I share with you guys. I just share what I've learned and how to do it specifically. I don't know too many other YouTubers that really go into the depth that I do on the how-to videos, because I believe that's so important. I'm a how-to guy, and there's a lot of cool videos about all kinds of stuff about eating healthy and raw foods, but not a lot of how-to stuff. So I really like to how to save money. Like, this is exactly how I do it, so you guys could copy it. And you know, I'm really glad that a lot of people now are shopping at the LA wholesale produce terminal because of me. I mean, I met another guy the other day, you know, that's shopping at the LA wholesale produce terminal. He probably saw one of my videos on how to do it, because people get scared and intimidated when doing anything brand new in life. So as much as my education is online, I'm actually going to be speaking at 3 different health-focused events this year, and I'm going to go ahead and share those with you guys. So if you guys want to see me in person, because I know I get a lot of requests, John, when are you going to talk in person? So these are the 3 upcoming events that I'll be speaking at this year, and I'll give you synopsises of each one. So the first place I'll be speaking this summer is actually called the Health, Healing, and Happiness event, taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada, June 12th to 14th. Now, besides me, there's at least a dozen other speakers, and some of my favorite speakers in the health and plant-based arena, such as Dr. Joel Fuhrman, you know, Dr. McDougall will be giving a presentation, and so many other cool people. Dr. Michael Clapper, you know, long-term plant-based diet advocate who I look up to and respect a lot, as well as a whole bunch of other people that come in from all over to educate people about health, healing, and happiness. Now, it's not all about the diet, and so this event is more of a widespread event that talks more than just eating a good, solid, healthy, plant-based diet, but gets into other facets of health. So Las Vegas is a great place to come. I know many of you guys still may be in the 50s or, you know, whatever. Yesterday was the first day they hit 100 in Las Vegas, and it's sure to be nice and warm, sunny skies, clear and beautiful in Las Vegas, during that time. So I want to encourage you guys to come out to that. I'll put a link down below to the episode where I reviewed that event last year, and also a link down below to the event website so you can learn more about it. That's June 12th to 14th. Mark your calendar. Las Vegas. It's pretty cheap to get to Las Vegas. No matter where you live, many cities have low-cost carriers. So Frontier Airlines, Spirit Airlines, Allegiant Airlines, they all fly to Las Vegas. And those are your low-cost carriers. So just fly with a backpack and you're not going to get charged extra on those guys. And I've flown all over, you know, different places from Las Vegas for like as low as $40. So you might even be able to get here for cheap, although that's getting into the busy season. And be sure to use the discount code JOHN, J-O-H-N, for 10% off your admission ticket to the Health, Healing, and Happiness event. I really like this event a lot because it's different than a lot of the other events I go to. It's more kind of upscale and, you know, really high-class event, really cool. Yeah, nice, intimate smaller crowd. You know, it's not super huge. I always learn something new every time I go, and even if you go and you know, you learn one thing, that could change the whole direction of your life, right? I mean, if the airline's taking off from here to, you know, Hawaii, and it just makes a small change, it could really, you know, end up in Fiji or something, right? And that's really the beauty of going to different events. You know, I always learn something new that always, you know, tweaks my approach and tweaks what I'm doing. But for you guys out there, you know, these, you know, just going to an event can literally change your life. Plus all the networking and people you meet, they're doing the same thing as you're doing, because I know a lot of you guys feel isolated. Maybe you live in, I don't know, Omaha, Nebraska, and you're probably the only raw plant-based eater there. You know, it's cool to be in an environment where there's so many other people that are doing literally the same thing, and you get to connect with them and meet them and all this kind of stuff. Also, the Health, Healing, Happiness will be the lowest cost event that I will be speaking at this year. So if you don't have a lot of money, come to Vegas. It'll be probably less expensive than any of the other events if you want to see me in person. So the talk I'll be giving at Health, Healing, and Happiness is the 3 tips on how to improve any diet. I don't care if you're on a plant-based diet. I don't care if you're on a nutritarian diet. I don't care if you're on a, you know, paleo diet. I'm going to give you 3 solid tips that I've learned over the last 20 years of me doing this, that you'll be able to increase and be better and get healthier on any diet you're at. And it's quite unfortunate that most speakers that make the rounds and speak at health expos and all this kind of stuff never talk about what I'm going to talk about, but it's so fundamental. Reading is fundamental, but it's so fundamental to succeeding on a long term and thriving on any diet, in my opinion. Okay, so that's what I'm giving at the Health, Healing, and Happiness. Number 2, I'll be speaking at the Raw Living Expo, and that's coming up in July 23rd to July 27th here, and that'll be in Sedona, Arizona. So Sedona, that's also going to be fairly hot there in July. And I'll be giving 2 presentations in Sedona at this event. I'll put a link down below to their website to sign up, and also a link down below to my video that I did last year at the similar event that they did. This event will have by far, you know, probably the most number of different speakers and some of the high profile names that are in the raw, vegan, plant-based movement. So if you want to see some of the, you know, main people, you definitely want to go to that event. Now that event is a little bit pricey, but I think it's definitely worth it for the people you meet, and once again, you know, just the one tidbit of knowledge you can get at these events, and of course the networking can change your life literally. And the 2 presentations I'll be giving there, I'll be talking about greens, the importance of greens, growing your greens, how to use your greens that you're growing, because this is often, you know, not missed. And then the other thing I'll be giving actually a hands-on workshop at a farm on how to build your soil the natural way. So that's going to be really cool. I'm really looking forward to the Raw Living Expo coming up in Sedona in July. And then the last event that I'll be speaking at this year, you know, at a presentation at an event, is the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and that goes on from August 16th to August 23rd. So this is the most expensive event out of all 3 events, and this is like a full week immersion into a plant-based raw diet, you know, that's lower in fat and focused on fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, you know, and no gourmet stuff at this event. And this is really cool because you get really full immersion in the diet, you know, a very similar diet to what I live my life on every day. And there's so many different activities to do. There's like, the day is packed with classes to go to if you want to learn different things. I'll be probably giving 2 to 3 different presentations at that event, and there's a whole bunch of my other friends that are giving many presentations there, as well as, you know, there's a lake to swim in that's non-chlorinated, which is really nice. And there's different activities and athletic things and yoga, and that's just a fabulous event. There's going to be several hundred people there. This is going to be the best one ever. It's going to be the last one. So if you want to go to Woodstock, this is the last event that they're going to have. You know, and so you want to come out to that event. I'll put a link down below once again to my video of my recent video review of that event, as well as a link to the website of the Woodstock Fruit Festival so you can learn more and sign up if you're interested. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions. So the first question is from Candy Sue. Hi John, what kind of water filter do you use for your home? I'm looking for the best water filter system for me and my family. Alright Candy Sue, so I recommend buying a water filter for your home based on the kind of water that you have. So you got to look at the contaminants in the water and get a system that's designed specifically to take out those contaminants. The system that I use may not be the right system for you, so you want to contact a local water filter person in your area to find out. Basically, some of the things that are put in water these days that are some of the worst things are the chlorine, the chloramine, and the fluoride. Also there's other contaminants in waters, VOCs and all this kind of stuff, that are easier to deal with. But the chloramine and the fluoride can be very difficult and challenging to remove. So the system that I use is called the Aquasana Rhino. Now I don't know that I'd actually recommend that at this point. That was a system, that I actually sold many years ago, and it was top of the class way back when. Water filtration has improved a little bit since then, and I don't know that the Rhino has actually kept up, but it's a good solid system. It is a bit pricey. Probably the system I like a lot now for the low cost system is actually a system they have at Lowe's. It's a Lowe's Honeywell whole house system. I think it's around $200 on sale at present time, and that's a good solid system that'll deal with chlorine and just regular contaminants. I don't think it's super effective at chloramine or the fluoride. In addition, besides the Aquasana Rhino, I will have a video one of these days upcoming where I'm going to install 2 additional, maybe even 3 whole house water filter systems in line with my Rhino to probably have the purest water in the city I live. So stay tuned for that upcoming episode when I finally am able to do that. Alright, next question is from Marianne Doe. John, question for you. I have the Omega 8006 juicer and I juice a lot of oranges to make the green juice taste better for my 2-year-old son. I feel this juicer is not the best juice for citrus. Can you suggest a good orange citrus juicer? There are so many options. I want to buy once and be happy with my purchase. I want to buy a citrus juicer that maximizes the juice extraction. Can you help? Thanks and love your video so much. XO. Alright Marianne, so basically there's 2 kinds of citrus juicers. You could run your citrus through like a fruit and vegetable juicer to get the juice out, or you could actually just squeeze out or ream out with the automatic augers citrus juicer. So I do recommend you always use a standard fruit and vegetable juicer to juice your oranges, and to juice your oranges you're going to want to just cut off the orange coloring of the orange and leave as much of the white pith, because that's where most of the nutrients are in the orange. And for juicing oranges and leafy greens at the same time, your Omega 8006 probably does a fairly decent job. Just make sure you add an orange, then some celery, then some greens, and it should do great. And so then you don't have to spend any extra money, because it works pretty good if you do orange, greens, celery, and just do some small pieces, and that'll help flush through the soft orange pulp. Now if you try to do all straight oranges, it's gonna get a little bit funky on you, but it does work, and keep that if you don't have a lot of money, right? Now if you want to really upgrade and get a new juicer and you don't like the 8006, what I'd recommend for juicing oranges and greens and some celery is the Slowstar juicer. So I really prefer the vertical style juicers. It takes a lot of the work out of the whole juicing process. It is a little bit longer to clean than the 8006, but it's a lot easier to use, and that's all about what I'm about, is easy use, and it allows you to make a higher volume, more juice in a shorter amount of time, even with the increased cleaning. So I'll put a link down below to the Slowstar juicer. I have many videos on YouTube regarding the Slowstar, including a video where I actually made a 9-minute juicing challenge where I juiced 24 ounces of juice in 9 minutes and cleaned it up with the Slowstar. So now anybody out there can invest just a little bit of time to change your health. And this is what health is about, man. It's about being consistent. Not like juicing for a month on a juice fast and then giving up and going back to, McDonald's and junk food. It's about, just including a little bit of good stuff every day. And even if you eat bad stuff, I don't really care. Eat the good stuff, focus on the good stuff, and keep expanding the amount of good stuff, including fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, blended smoothies, and juices, and you're going to be better off than the next person. And one day, maybe you'll get rid of all that toxic junk foods that you guys are eating, and I've been doing that now for 20 years, and it works if you do it properly, right? And I'm just here to share that with you guys. Alright, so next question is also from Marianne Doe. Hi John, thanks for all the videos you do. Seriously, thank you. Wanted to see some videos on your advice on raising a kid eating raw vegan. My son is 2, a typically picky eater. I've raised him vegan and try whole foods thus far, but it's getting harder and harder, especially since I just watched your video that almond butter isn't actually a good idea to be feeding him. We live in Nova Scotia, Canada, and the fresh produce is hard to come by in the 7th month of off-season. Is it okay and right to raise him on juices and salads? Do you think kids growing need more nuts and grains? All right, Marianne, so first I need to give a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I'm just going to share my opinions with you. If I had a 2-year-old son and what I would do with my girlfriend and her wife, soon to be, maybe, at the time. And that's all I could share with you. And also my experiences on what I've seen on people raising their kids, you know, raw and vegan. So number one, you have to be very diligent. I mean, that's number one, complete off, you know. Partly also I would try to, you know, maybe not be super upfront with the diet that you're feeding your son to others, because they will be very judgmental. You know, I will surely be feeding my child one day raw and whole food plant-based diet, absolutely, and he or she's gonna learn the value of picking and eating food from the garden. I mean, that's my goal, is to have a full-on orchard and garden by the time I have kids, so that my kids could go out to the garden and eat food from the earth, and that's what they're gonna get to know, and that's what they're gonna hopefully get to love. And that's my goal. So I don't know about the video where I said almond butter is not a good idea to be feeding them, but basically, you know, what I would focus on, instead of like high fatty foods, I try to focus on nutrient dense foods and foods with especially essential fatty acids, you know, for me. And so I would probably include a DHA, EPA supplement for my son or daughter when I was going to feed him raw, because brain development is critical, and I have seen, you know, some maybe underdeveloped children, because you could feed a kid raw, vegan, or just vegan, and they could turn out great, or they could turn out not so good, depending on the specific diet, because not all raw vegan diets and not all vegan diets, you know, are healthy. So I would try to dial it in and kind of eat, you know, myself very similar to what I would feed my little person. I mean, I have a little person, he's a little dog, and he eats, you know, whole foods, you know, plant strong diet primarily, with a lot of raw foods, because he eats a lot of what I'm eating, right? And that's what I would try to do for my little ones, and I would really try to focus on the nutrients. So a good book I would recommend is Dr. Joel Fuhrman's, any of his books, you know, on his nutritarian style diet. That's kind of a diet that I would focus on for my little ones, with a raw food emphasis, you know. And that's pretty much how I would do it, you know, fruits and vegetables, and try to get as many fruits and vegetables as you can, because those are the foods that really feed us. And it's, of course, also very important that the child gets enough calories as well as nutrients. And I would also be doing blood testing and testing my child for, especially for EPA, DHA, omega-3, 6 balance, you know, in the younger years, to make sure that he met all his nutrient requirements. Also B12 and vitamin D, of course, you know, just as I would on myself, because it's very important not just to have blind faith, but to test to make sure what you're doing is appropriate and going to be that most healthy. All right, so that's the answer to that. Next question is from Marcus Campbell. Hey, I wanted to say thank you for all your informative videos. I have a question about getting back into a healthy diet and lifestyle. Are there any retreat plan-based programs you would recommend? I would like to get away from my city while simultaneously being reintroduced to a raw or plant-based diet. Any help you could shine will be greatly appreciated, and I would definitely come to a raw food retreat if you held one. Thanks again. All right, Marcus, well, I might plan a raw food retreat at some point. It's been on my list to do, but it's just really challenging for me to set all that up and get one done. But I will do one day, and if you want me to do one, hey, post a, you know, note down below that you would come, whoever's watching this, and that might motivate me to do it. It would be a small format retreat, you know, no more than 20 people, you know, and it'd be really cool. But anyways, the ones that I would currently recommend, you know, number one would be the Woodstock Fruit Festival. You know, I mentioned it earlier, but that's a good full week immersion, August 16th to 23rd, so that's like 7 days, where you just basically get thrown in with a whole bunch of other people eating the diet, like several hundred people doing it, and it's very supportive place, and it's just awesome experience, and there's no other event like it, and it's probably going away after this year. So that's number one. Probably the second place I would probably recommend is actually called the True North Health Center. Dr. Alan Goldhammer runs that facility with other doctors on staff, and they'll basically either water fast you or juice fast you, but also educate you at the same time, or just feed you a whole SOS free, so salt, oil, sugar free plant-based diet, and get you reacclimated. So they could do a wide variety of things, you know, water fasting, juice fasting, or just whole foods, or a combination of the three to kind of reset you, get you back on track, but more importantly also do the education. Both my parents have been there and have really good results. My dad left there, and actually after my dad left there, he went in, you know, eating animals and meats, and he came out being like 99% vegan, you know, since that time. So I'm very grateful to the staff there at True North to help get my dad, you know, to be in a healthier place. And I know they could do the same for you. So I like that place a lot. I mean, the final retreat center that I like, you know, I've been to many. Hippocrates Health Institute, they're definitely on the expensive side, and they do a more, you know, a little bit higher fat and more green diet without the fruits, which there's pros and cons to. But that's also a place that will also help you with the education and also feed you every day, you know, that can be very valuable for the right person. So yeah, you want to check those three out, and hope that helps you out there. All right, next question is Bobby Gray. Are you hip to magnetic water? It is what makes rainwater so good. Bobby, yes. So actually I have magnets on the inlet of my water filtration, of the water coming into the house, and I run magnets through it. I'm also got a new unit that I need to install that actually I will plug in. It's actually stronger magnets, and I strongly believe in magnetic water and believe it could only help. You know, our planet is magnetic, you know, for people that don't know this, and the magnetism levels of our planet have actually diminished over the years, you know, since all this technology, you know, everything that's been happening. So then another thing I do that I've been doing is actually I sleep on a magnetic bed, and there's many out there. A lot of them are crap, and one of these days I will have a review on my magnetic bed, which I do feel does make a difference to, you know, basically take me to the next level and allows me to be healthier, heal faster because of it. So, you know, I'm always open to looking into new technologies as long as they're not going to hurt me, and I do not believe used appropriately and the right kind of magnets are going to hurt you. Of course, you could also get the wrong kind, and it's probably not going to be a good idea. All right, next question from Jan Lopez. I'm a raw vegan. Been following your videos for quite some time now. I'm on a low-fat, high-carb diet. I have a full-time job, therefore I do use a mobile phone. I recently watched your video on growing your own mushrooms. You did mention cooking them as a recommendation. I have been eating raw mushrooms for over 10 years, the edible ones, of course, and since raw, I make loads of recipes with them, e.g. D-stem, white button mushrooms stuffed with parsley, tomatoes, cucumbers, and have at least 10 of those in one meal. I can't have done this for an entire week, or a mushroom burger, portobellos with onions, tomatoes, lettuce in between. I've sat in my vehicle, wiped off the mushrooms, and mono-mealed on them. I eat portobello, cremini, shiitake, locally grown oyster, and any edible ones I could find. Do you omit mushrooms from your diet because they are raw? Looking forward to your response. Thanks. Alright, so the mushrooms, that's a big question, you know. So for the longest time I really didn't eat a whole lot of mushrooms. If I went to a potluck or a restaurant and they kind of had them, I might eat a couple, you know, here and there. But and lately I have to say that I've tried to increase the amount of mushrooms that I eat because I believe they are so beneficial. That being said, they're not a food you necessarily want to eat raw, in my opinion, you know. And, you know, I don't come up with my opinions just out of thin air. You know, I talk to mushroom experts. So, you know, I saw Paul Stamets, which is known as one of the mushroom gurus in the whole wide world, and he was at one of the trade shows that I attended. And I talked to him specifically about raw mushrooms and are they alright to eat raw. And basically, he told me that, you know, there's a lot of mycotoxins or toxins in the mushrooms that are not alright to eat raw, especially in the standard button mushrooms and standard portobellos, which many raw food recipes use. Now, you know, one or two here and there probably not going to hurt you because your body could deal with toxins, because I mean that's what we're set up to. But at the same time, I don't want to set off my body's immune system to mushroom mycotoxins when I need to be dealing with other, you know, environmental toxins in my life. So about the only kind of mushroom that I do eat raw and uncooked is shiitake, because that has a low level of the mycotoxins. If I do eat other mushrooms, which is actually quite rare, I might eat them raw just here and there, which I don't think is a really big issue because some stimulation is good. But I believe the mushrooms are really beneficial. So I did get some mushroom powders and mushroom, supplements, some by Paul Stamets and his company. That have been basically processed for me and been heat processed, and then I'll take the mushroom powders or whatnot, so I could get the beneficial effects from the mushrooms, And once again, I'm 99.999% raw. I don't claim to be 100% raw, and this is one of the things that are the 001. Do I live on 10 mushroom capsules or mushroom powders a day? No, I might eat it like once or twice or 3 times a month, if that. So it's a very small component of my diet, but yet I don't want to leave it out because I feel it is so beneficial, and instead of being I gotta be all raw, right? Well, yeah, I'm gonna be all raw, but if there's something that's beneficial, that's not gonna be detrimental to me and gonna help me, I'm gonna by all means do it. So, if what you're doing is working for you, hey, and you like it, don't do it, but, I mean, keep on doing it. But, you might want to think about maybe, switching the kind of mushrooms you're eating and whatnot, because I believe, based on, the experts that I've spoken to, it's probably not the best thing in the world to do. Right, next question is from Amy Rick. Hi, John. Love your videos. I have a question. Do you recommend colonics? I've found them really helpful when detoxing things. Amy. All right, Amy, so, it's really tough if I say I recommend colonics or I don't recommend colonics, I'm kind of like in between. Like, do I recommend them? Well, I think in certain situations they can be actually quite helpful and beneficial. Upon my transitioning to raw, they were quite instrumental in helping me to make the changeover, to get all the toxins out so that I didn't have those cooked food cravings anymore when I went on a big cleanse program, right? And I believe they really helped me out, and I like to get colonic tune-ups every once in a while when my body tells me that I need them. I don't get them monthly. I might get them once a year, if that, And I think they can be helpful to just try to get things moving if you're not moving. Of course, people that are impacted and blocked and overweight and having only one bowel movement a month or one a week, I mean, it's probably a good thing to get a colonic, and you'd have to go to a medical practitioner or a colonic provider and talk to more about them to get specific recommendations. But I think colonics have a place in a healthy diet. Optimally, a natural hygiene perspective would be they're very unnatural, sticking water up your ass and all this stuff. And to date, my mom still won't get one. I think she likes having her stick up her ass instead of water to clean it all out. All right. Don't tell her I said that. All right. So the next question is from Rosalind Ryder. Dear John, as a viewer of your different channels on YouTube as well as other avenues, I'd like to say thank you so much. You're one of the most passionate people out there that I know about, and I love the heart and energy you bring to things. I like all the different aspects of your various channels. I've been wondering and hoping for a long time, would you please do an episode on how you ferment your vegetables? I love seeing the methods different people use. I'm especially interested in your approach at it, especially if you use salt or perhaps a small amount with your raw lifestyle. I know you're a very busy man getting messages all the time. Don't expect a message, but thank you, John, for your time. All right, Rosalind, so I think I already do have a few videos on fermenting vegetables. I'll try to put a links down below. They're spread across my different channels. I will have an upcoming episode where I harvest whole cabbages out of my garden and actually ferment them, in a nice big crock from Germany, which is amazing. And so I will put a link to that, when it's up, and just subscribe to my Growing Your Greens channel. You'll see that video when it goes up. So I ferment vegetables in a number of ways, I've done vegetables where I ferment them with no salt, and that can be, riskier than using salt because salt encourages the beneficial microbial growth and discourages the negative microbial growth. But you can absolutely do it, without salt. I like to use, a good quality sea salt called Seasons 90 that actually has a lower sodium content than other salts as well as trace minerals to get the salt in there to ensure that I have a successful ferment. I've also done it many times without salt and just using, brine from a previous batch or from store-bought raw sauerkrauts or other fermented vegetables that I have used to help get that process going, and then do that in an airlock container. That's super important. I try to do everything in an airlock container whenever I can. But yeah, I believe that it's very important, minimize the salt intake. I do eat small amounts of, salt, that are in foods that I eat. So for example, some sauerkrauts might contain some small amounts of salt or some miso, but it's quite a rare day that I actually sprinkle salt on things because I think you could easily overdo it that way. And, salt is a required nutrient. And I have had friends that eat, all plants with no salt and expunge salts from their diets, and they've been actually sodium deficient. So that's not a good place to be. We want to have the proper amount of sodium. But I personally think that people tend to overdo the salt you know, on the most part. So it'd probably be a good thing to try to reduce it. And if you're eating processed foods, they have tons of salt, man. All right, next question is from EAS Leaps. John, most things are also centered around alcohol. I know drinking in moderation, if at all, is best, but do you have any good suggestions for alcohol if you even drink? Obviously, organic wines and local grown is best. All right. So number one, I do not drink. I don't drink alcohol. I personally do not believe it's beneficial. I mean, the main benefits of wine, in my opinion, are the phytochemicals, polyphenols, and antioxidants in the grape juice, whether it's been fermented or not. So I'd rather juice grapes with the skin and the seeds and the stems and all, and get the benefits that way instead of having them in the grape juice. You know, research and people and companies always want to make you believe that what is bad for you is really good for you, and they'll pick out any little minutia of detail to basically make it all right in your mind. And I'm not really going to say and make a judgment about if alcohol is good or bad. You know, I know that in excess it does cause issues, DWIs, people lose their life. You know, I've seen a lot of belligerence and fights and all this stuff due to excess alcohol, and it's very easy to overdo it. You know, that's about what I can say with that. I actually quit drinking alcohol before I was actually raw in college. When I joined a fraternity, I actually quit alcohol because I saw the problems that it caused with Deweys, DWIs, and belligerence. And it just, I could be, you know, high on life without being high or being buzzed on alcohol, right? And just be outgoing and just pretend. You know, our brains are really cool because you could pretend that you're drunk and not even be drunk, and you could act like it, right? And nobody's gonna know, right? So I just try to act like that all the time and just have a fun, grand time. That being said, if you do want to drink alcohol, you know, I mean, I'd probably say the lighter alcohols with like less alcohol percentage is better, like hard alcohol. I can't really see it too much of a benefit, but probably, you know, I would say the wines like biodynamic, organic, you know, wines without sulfides would probably be the best thing if you want to enjoy them. And I'd probably prefer the darker wines instead of the lighter wines because, once again, I'm eating for phytonutrients, right? That's about all I have to say for that. I would encourage everybody to reduce their alcohol consumption if you are currently drinking. It'll, you know, actually lower your expenses, and you can put that money towards eating more fresh fruits and vegetables. All right, last question today is from The Healer. It's amazing to think that you've managed to thrive 20 years on a raw food diet. You don't seem to eat much fruit, mostly vegetables. At least that's what I've noticed. But hey, if you stayed 20 years, then this is obviously working for you. I've been raw for 3 years, and I can't do it without lots and lots of fruit. I barely eat any vegetables. All right, The Healer. So, you know, the thing I want to say to that is, you know, I eat a combination of fruits and vegetables. Everybody will find their balance. I personally believe that a lot of people will tend to eat a lot of vegetables and high fat, and probably that's not the best thing. Some people will eat a lot of fruit, little vegetables, you know, and that's probably not the best thing. But I think really the combination of things is eating enough fruits to get a lot of calories, enough vegetables to get a lot of nutrients, you know, 2 pounds of leafy greens as well as other vegetables in a day. I normally juice them, eat them in a salad or soup in the evening, and then also get some healthy fats in you know. And I think that's the best of all, you know. Everybody needs to meet their balance, and, you know, for me personally, I might do 1, maybe 2 fruit meals a day, sometimes just 1 fruit meal a day, then a big vegetable meal, usually in a juice, and then a nice big salad meal at night. And that's pretty much how I roll. It's pretty simple. I've had videos on what I eat in a day so you guys could see what I eat, and usually it tends to be a lot of fruit. You know, my fridges are packed with all kinds of fruits, and I have some jackfruit in there that I might even eat next. So be sure to like this video if you like this video, and I'll be sure to do more Q&As in the future. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already for upcoming videos, you know, every couple days. And also be sure to check out past episodes. I have over 400 episodes on a wide variety of raw foods, health-related, plant-based topics so that you can fully thrive on a plant-based raw lifestyle if you desire. Once again, my name is John Kohler with okraw.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. All right, this is John Kohler with okraw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We're coming at you from the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival. Everybody's having a great time here. It's going on for 2 full weeks this year. So much fun. And besides all the fun people are having, there's a lot of information